The year was 2147, and humanity had finally stretched its reach beyond the confines of the solar system. The Odyssey, Earth's first deep space exploration vessel, drifted silently through the icy darkness of the Kuiper Belt. Its mission was simple: scout for resources and signs of extraterrestrial life. What they found, however, would change everything. Captain Alina Voss stood on the bridge of the Odyssey, her sharp eyes scanning the endless expanse of stars. She was a seasoned leader, known for her calm demeanor and unshakable resolve. But today, even she couldn't contain the thrill coursing through her veins. On their long-range scanners, something massive loomed, a structure far too large to be natural. It wasn't moving, just floating there like a ghost ship lost in time. "Bring it up on the main screen," Alina ordered, her voice steady but tinged with curiosity. The image materialized slowly, pixel by pixel. When it came into focus, gasps rippled through the crew. Before them floated an alien starship, impossibly huge, easily dwarfing Earth's moon. Its surface shimmered faintly, etched with intricate patterns that glowed a soft blue. The design was unlike anything humanity had ever seen, sleek, organic, yet undeniably advanced. "It's abandoned," muttered Dr. Raj Patel, the ship's lead physicist. His dark eyes were wide behind his glasses as he studied the readings. No heat signatures, no power fluctuations, just silence. Alina nodded. "We're going in." Hours later, a small team boarded the alien vessel using the Odyssey's shuttlecraft. The airlock hissed open, revealing a corridor bathed in dim light. The walls pulsed faintly, as if alive, and strange symbols adorned every surface. Each step echoed eerily in the vast emptiness. "This place gives me the creeps," whispered Lieutenant Marcus Kane, clutching his weapon tightly. He glanced over his shoulder at Alina, who walked ahead without hesitation. Her presence alone steadied the nerves of the others. As they ventured deeper, they found rooms filled with dormant machinery and consoles covered in glowing panels. There were no bodies, no signs of struggle, just emptiness. It was as though whoever had lived here simply vanished. Dr. Madeline, the linguist, knelt beside one of the symbols etched into the wall. Her fingers traced its curves carefully. "These aren't random designs," she said thoughtfully. "They're writing. A language." "Can you read it?" Alina asked. May shook her head. "Not yet, but I can try." Suddenly, the lights flickered. The entire group froze, hearts pounding. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a low hum reverberated through the ship, followed by a series of clicks and whirs. Something inside the alien vessel was waking up. "What did we do?" Marcus whispered, gripping his weapon tighter. "No one touched anything," snapped Raj defensively. Alina raised a hand, silencing them both. "Stay calm. We don't know what this is yet." She turned to Mai. "Keep working on those symbols. Maybe they'll tell us why this thing is still here, and where its owners went." For now, the mystery remained unsolved. But one thing was certain: this derelict starship held secrets that could alter the course of human history forever. And whether those secrets would save or destroy them, no one could say. Back on Earth, news of the alien starship spread like wildfire. Governments scrambled to claim ownership of what was now being called the Colossus. Scientists debated its origins, conspiracy theorists spun wild tales, and ordinary people stared at the sky with a mix of awe and fear. Humanity had always dreamed of finding extraterrestrial life, but no one expected it to come in the form of an abandoned, ancient spaceship. Captain Alina Voss and her crew remained aboard the Colossus, working tirelessly alongside a team of engineers sent from Earth. Among them was Dr. Raj Patel, a brilliant but socially awkward physicist whose mind raced faster than anyone else's. He spent hours hunched over alien consoles, trying to decipher how the ship worked. The technology was baffling. Self-repairing circuits, holographic displays that responded to touch, and power sources unlike anything humanity had ever seen. "This isn't just advanced. Raj muttered one evening as he pored over schematics. "It's elegant. Like every piece serves multiple purposes." Elena leaned against the doorway, watching him work. "Can you wake it up?" Raj hesitated. "Maybe. But we need to be careful. If we push the wrong button." He trailed off, leaving the consequences unspoken. Despite his caution, progress came quickly. After days of trial and error, Raj managed to activate a section of the ship. A hum filled the air, growing louder until the entire vessel seemed to vibrate with energy. Lights flickered on throughout the corridors, bathing everything in a soft glow. For the first time since their arrival, the Colossus felt alive. But not everyone celebrated. Strange things began happening almost immediately. Panels would light up randomly, doors opened and closed without warning, and eerie whispers echoed through the halls, sounds that couldn't be explained by logic alone. Some crew members dismissed these anomalies as glitches, remnants of an aging system rebooting itself. Others weren't so sure. Lieutenant Marcus Kane was among the skeptics. "This feels wrong," he said during a meeting in the makeshift command center. "We don't know what this ship is capable of, or what it might do if it decides we're a threat." Elena crossed her arms, her expression thoughtful. "We can't turn back now. This is humanity's chance to step into the stars. We have to take risks." As tension simmered, another discovery shook the crew. Deep within the ship, they stumbled upon a massive chamber filled with alien weaponry. Sleek, metallic devices hung suspended in alcoves, humming softly as though waiting for activation. Each weapon looked more dangerous than the last, some resembling rifles, others pulsating orbs of unknown purpose. "This changes everything," Raj whispered, his voice trembling with excitement and dread. "With tech like this, humanity could dominate space, or destroy itself." Dr. Mei Lin, who had been studying the alien language, chimed in. "I found something else," she said, holding up a tablet. "These symbols, they mention guardians, whatever that means." Before anyone could respond, the ship shuddered violently, alarms blared, and red lights flashed across the walls. The crew froze, unsure whether they triggered some defense mechanism or awakened something far worse. "What did you do?" Marcus demanded, glaring at Raj. "I didn't." Raj started, but his words were cut short as a deep mechanical groan reverberated through the ship. From hidden compartments emerged towering constructs, massive insectoid robots with glowing eyes and razor-sharp limbs. They moved with unnatural precision, scanning the humans before them. "Everyone stay calm," Elena shouted, raising her hand slowly. "Don't make any sudden moves." For a moment, the room was deathly silent. Then one of the guardians tilted its head, analyzing the crew. It let out a low whir, almost like curiosity, before retreating back into the shadows. No one spoke as the constructs disappeared. The message was clear. The Colossus wasn't completely under human control, and it never would be unless they learned to respect its secrets. As the crew regrouped, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that they were playing with forces far beyond their understanding. But turning back wasn't an option anymore. Not when the future of humanity depended on taking the next step forward. The discovery of the alien weaponry and the appearance of the insectoid guardians left the crew of the Colossus uneasy. Every step deeper into the ship revealed new mysteries, each more unsettling than the last. While Dr. Raj Patel worked tirelessly to understand the ship's systems, Dr. Madeline focused on deciphering the cryptic symbols etched into its walls. Her breakthrough came during a sleepless night when she finally cracked part of the alien language. "These aren't just random markings," May announced the next morning, her voice trembling with excitement as she addressed the group in their makeshift command center. "They're warnings and stories." She tapped a holographic display she had rigged from the ship's technology. Alien symbols floated in midair, accompanied by rough translations in English. "This section talks about a great calamity, a war that destroyed their civilization. They called it the Fracture. It forced them to abandon this ship." Captain Elena Voss leaned forward, her brow furrowed. A war? With who? Mai hesitated. It doesn't say directly. But there's something else here. She scrolled through the text. They mentioned guardians again, not just those robots we saw, but something alive, left behind to protect what remained. The room fell silent. The idea of living beings hidden somewhere within the colossal vessel sent chills down everyone's spines. Lieutenant Marcus Kane broke the silence. If they're still here, why haven't we seen them yet? Before anyone could answer, an alarm blared. Red lights flashed throughout the ship, and the hum of machinery grew louder. Panic rippled through the crew as they rushed to investigate. What's happening now? Elena demanded, gripping the edge of a console. It's not us. Raj shouted over the noise. Something inside the ship is activating. The source of the disturbance was a previously sealed chamber near the core of the Colossus. The massive doors slid open with a hiss, revealing rows upon rows of dormant guardian constructs. Far more than anyone had anticipated. In the center of the room stood a pedestal glowing faintly blue. On it rested a crystalline object pulsating with energy. That's new, Marcus muttered, raising his weapon cautiously. No one touch it. Elena ordered sharply. Raj, can you tell what it is? Raj scanned the crystal with his handheld device, his face pale. It's some kind of power core, but incredibly unstable. If it malfunctions, we need to figure out how to shut it down, or at least stabilize it. Elena said firmly. We can't risk losing control of this ship. As the team debated their next move, May noticed something odd about the pedestal. More symbols were carved into its surface, almost invisible under the dim light. She knelt to examine them closely. Wait, these aren't warnings. They're instructions. Her fingers traced the markings as she translated aloud. To awaken the heart, speak the truth. What does that mean? Speak the truth. Marcus echoed skeptically. Truth about what? Elena stepped forward, her gaze fixed on the crystal. Maybe it means we have to prove ourselves, to show that we're worthy of using this ship. The others exchanged uneasy glances. Proving themselves to an ancient alien artifact felt like a gamble, but they had no other choice. The ship was already reacting unpredictably. Leaving the situation unresolved could make things worse. Taking a deep breath, Elena approached the pedestal. She placed her hand gently on the crystal and spoke clearly. We are explorers, not conquerors. We seek knowledge, not destruction. Please, let us learn. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the crystal flared brightly, bathing the room in warm light. The hum of machinery softened, and the red alarms ceased. The ship seemed to settle, as if acknowledging her words. But as the crew exhaled in relief, Mai whispered, I don't think this is over. Something bigger is watching us. Unbeknownst to them, deep within the bowels of the Colossus, faint whispers began to stir once more. With the alien power core stabilized and the ship's systems partially under human control, excitement aboard the Colossus reached a fever pitch. For weeks, Dr. Raj Patel had been working tirelessly to decipher the ship's propulsion mechanisms. The breakthrough came when he successfully interfaced the alien engines with Earth-based navigation protocols. Humanity was about to take its first step into faster-than-light travel. This is it, Raj announced during a meeting in the command center, his voice trembling with both pride and nervousness. We can activate the engines now, but we need to be ready for anything. This tech is far beyond us. Captain Elena Voss nodded firmly. We've come too far to hesitate. Prepare the crew. We're leaving the Kuiper Belt. As the countdown began, tension filled every corner of the ship. Some crew members whispered prayers, while others simply gripped their seats tightly. Even Marcus Kane, who rarely showed fear, clenched his jaw as the hum of the engines grew louder. The massive vessel vibrated beneath their feet, and the glowing patterns on the walls pulsed rhythmically, as if the ship itself were alive and eager to move. Engines at full power, Raj called out from his station, initiating jump sequence. Now. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, The universe seemed to warp around them. Stars stretched into streaks of light, colors blurred together, and the sensation of motion became overwhelming. It wasn't like flying. It was like falling through dimensions. When the chaos subsided, the crew found themselves staring at an unfamiliar star system, light years away from where they'd started. "We did it," Madeline whispered, her eyes wide with wonder as she gazed at the new expanse of space outside the viewport. Faster than light travel. But their awe quickly turned to unease. Scattered across the void were fragments of what appeared to be another massive alien warship. Twisted metal floated aimlessly, scorched and shattered by some catastrophic force. Among the debris were strange symbols eerily similar to those etched into the Colossus walls. "What happened here?" Marcus asked, his voice low as he studied the wreckage through binoculars. "It looks like someone, or something, tore this thing apart." Elena ordered a closer inspection. Using drones equipped with scanners, the crew carefully analyzed the remains. They discovered traces of energy weapons unlike anything humanity had ever seen. Whatever battle had taken place here, it had been devastating. This could explain why the original owners abandoned the Colossus, Raj said grimly. If this was one of their ships, they must have faced enemies capable of wiping them out. Mee examined data recovered from a damaged console embedded in the wreckage. Her expression darkened as she pieced together fragments of alien text. "These aren't just records of battles, they're warnings. Whoever destroyed this fleet might still be out there." The revelation sent a chill through the crew. Had they awakened the Colossus only to attract the same fate as its creators? Elena knew they couldn't afford to dwell on fear. They needed answers. And survival meant staying one step ahead. "We'll gather what intel we can and get moving," Elena decided. "This place isn't safe." As the crew prepared to leave, May noticed something unusual, a faint signal emanating from deep within the debris field. It pulsed rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat. She brought it to Elena's attention. It could be a trap, Marcus warned. Or worse. Elena hesitated, then made her decision. "Send a drone to investigate. If it's important, we'll retrieve it. If not, we cut our losses and go." Hours later, the drone returned carrying a small metallic object shaped like a sphere. Its surface shimmered with the same blue glow as the alien symbols. As soon as the artifact touched human hands, the whispers that had haunted the corridors of the Colossus grew louder, almost triumphant. They didn't realize it yet, but humanity had just taken its first step toward uncovering the truth about the aliens' downfall. And that truth would test them in ways they could never imagine. The metallic sphere, recovered from the debris field, radiated an unsettling energy. Its faint blue glow pulsed rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat, and the whispers that had haunted the Colossus since their arrival grew louder with each passing hour. The crew gathered in the command center, debating what to do with the mysterious artifact. "We don't even know what this thing is," Lieutenant Marcus Kane argued, pacing back and forth. "For all we know, it could be a weapon, or worse, a beacon calling something back here." Dr. Mei Lin held the sphere cautiously, studying its surface. "It's not just a random object. These patterns match the symbols on the ship. It has to mean something." Captain Elena Voss stood at the head of the room, her arms crossed as she weighed the options. "We can't ignore it. If it holds answers about the aliens or their enemies, we need to figure it out. But we proceed carefully." Dr. Raj Patel frowned, adjusting his glasses. "I'll run some tests. Let's see if it interacts with the ship's systems." As Raj connected the sphere to one of the alien consoles, the hum of machinery intensified. Suddenly, the lights dimmed, and the glowing patterns on the walls flared brighter than ever before. Alarms blared, and the floor trembled beneath their feet. "What's happening?" Elena demanded, gripping the edge of a console for balance. Before anyone could respond, the insectoid guardians emerged once again, dozens of them this time, flooding into the corridors with mechanical precision. Their glowing eyes scanned the humans, and their razor-sharp limbs clicked menacingly. "They're reacting to the sphere," May shouted over the chaos. It must have triggered them. One of the Guardians stepped forward, towering over the crew. Its head tilted slightly, as though analyzing them. Then, without warning, it extended a claw-like appendage toward Raj. "Don't move," Elena barked, raising her hand slowly. "Nobody make any sudden moves." Raj froze, sweat beading on his forehead as the Guardian's claw hovered inches from his face. For a moment, the entire room held its breath. Then, the construct retracted its limb and turned its attention to the sphere instead. With a series of whirs and clicks, it interfaced with the artifact, transferring data between itself and the glowing object. "It's communicating," Mai whispered, her voice filled with awe. "The sphere, it's giving them instructions." After several tense minutes, the Guardians retreated silently, disappearing back into the shadows of the ship. The alarm ceased, and the lights returned to normal. The crew exhaled collectively, shaken but unharmed. "What just happened?" Marcus asked, lowering his weapon. "Did we just get lucky?" Elena shook her head. "No, those things were responding to the sphere. Whatever it is, it's tied to the ship and to them." Raj examined the console where the sphere had been connected. His eyes widened as he processed the data. This is incredible. The sphere contains coordinates, a destination, and based on the calculations, it's somewhere deep in uncharted space. May leaned closer, her curiosity piqued. "Do you think it's leading us to something important, or is it a trap?" Elena stared at the sphere, her mind racing. They had come too far to turn back now. "We follow the coordinates, but we stay alert. This ship has already shown us it has secrets and dangers we don't fully understand." As preparations began for the next jump, the whispers within the Colossus grew quieter, almost satisfied. Unbeknownst to the crew, the sphere wasn't merely guiding them, it was testing them. Each decision brought humanity closer to unlocking the truth about the aliens' fate, but it also edged them nearer to forces that could either save or destroy them. For now, the journey continued. The stars ahead shimmered with promise and peril. Back on Earth, news of the Colossus' capability spread like wildfire. Humanity's leaders were divided. Some saw the alien ship as a tool for peace and exploration, while others viewed it as a weapon to assert dominance over rival nations. The United Earth Council convened an emergency session, with representatives from every major power arguing fiercely about how to use the ship. "This is humanity's greatest discovery," declared Ambassador Chen, representing the Pacific Alliance. "It should belong to all of us, to advance science, unite our species, and ensure no one falls behind." "Nonsense," countered General Ivanov of the Eurasian Federation, slamming his fist on the table. "You think our enemies will wait patiently while we hold hands and sing songs? If we don't control this technology first, they'll crush us." Captain Alina Voss watched the debate unfold via live feed aboard the Colossus. She had been ordered to return temporarily to address the council, but her heart wasn't in it. She knew that Earth's petty squabbles paled in comparison to the dangers lurking beyond the stars. Still, she understood the stakes. Control of the Colossus meant control of the future. As tensions escalated, factions began taking drastic measures. Rogue operatives smuggled fragments of alien tech off the ship during supply runs, selling them on the black market. Within weeks, unauthorized mining operations sprang up across the solar system, powered by stolen alien energy sources. Corporations and militaries raced to replicate the technology, often with disastrous results. One such experiment caused a catastrophic explosion in Mars' orbit, leaving thousands dead. Meanwhile, aboard the Colossus, Dr. Raj Patel grew increasingly frustrated. "This isn't why we came here," he muttered as he monitored reports of the chaos unfolding back home. "They're treating this ship like a prize to be exploited, not a responsibility to be respected." Alina nodded grimly. "We've barely scratched the surface of what this vessel can do, and already they're tearing it apart for scraps." Dr. Maylin added, And what happens when other civilizations find out? Do you think they'll welcome us if we start acting like conquerors? The crew's concerns deepened when Marcus Kane intercepted encrypted transmissions suggesting that several governments planned to seize the Colossus outright. A fleet of warships was being assembled under the guise of protecting the vessel, though everyone knew their true purpose. "We can't let them turn this ship into a weapon," Alina said firmly during a private meeting with her senior staff. "If we lose control of the Colossus, humanity might never recover." Raj hesitated before speaking. "There's one option. We could activate the ship's cloaking systems, make it disappear completely until we decide who deserves access." "It's risky," Marcus countered. "If Earth feels betrayed, they'll hunt us down. And what happens if the Guardians see this as a threat?" Alina's jaw tightened. "Then we'll deal with it. Our priority is protecting the ship and ensuring humanity doesn't destroy itself before it even steps into the galaxy." That night, the decision was made. Under the cover of darkness, the Colossus vanished without a trace, its location unknown even to those aboard the Odyssey. Back on Earth, outrage erupted. Some called it treason. Others hailed it as an act of courage. But amidst the political storm, one truth remained clear. Humanity's greatest challenge wasn't mastering alien technology. It was learning to wield it wisely. Unbeknownst to anyone, the whispers within the Colossus grew stronger, almost approving. The ship seemed alive, watching, waiting for humanity to prove itself worthy of the stars. With the Colossus cloaked and adrift in deep space, Captain Alina Voss and her crew decided to follow the coordinates encoded in the mysterious sphere. The journey took them far beyond anything humanity had ever explored, into a region of the galaxy shrouded in cosmic dust and silence. As they approached their destination, the ship's sensors detected faint energy signatures emanating from a dying star system. "This place feels wrong," Lieutenant Marcus Kane muttered as he studied the readings. "It's like something's sucking the life out of everything here." Alina nodded grimly. "Whatever it is, we're committed now. Let's see what we're dealing with." As they entered the system, the view outside the viewport left the crew speechless. Orbiting the dimming star were ruins, entire cities floating in the void, preserved by the vacuum of space. Towering spires and intricate structures hinted at an advanced civilization, but there was no sign of life, only decay. Dr. Mei Lin stared at the ruins, her voice barely above a whisper. This must have been their home. The aliens who built the Colossus. They didn't just abandon their ship. Their entire empire collapsed. Using drones equipped with scanners, the team ventured closer to investigate. Inside one of the larger structures, they discovered data crystals similar to those Mai had deciphered before. With trembling hands, she inserted one into her portable translator device. Fragments of alien text began appearing on the screen. "They were brilliant," Mai said after hours of analysis. "Their technology surpassed ours by centuries. But so did their ambition. They created weapons capable of unimaginable destruction, believing they could control them." Raj leaned over her shoulder, his face pale. "And then they lost control." May nodded. "Yes, these records describe experiments gone horribly wrong, weapons that consumed entire planets. Eventually, their own creations turned against them. Billions died in days." The revelation sent a chill through the crew. Humanity had already begun replicating fragments of alien tech back on Earth. Were they doomed to repeat the same mistakes? "It gets worse," Mai continued, her voice heavy with dread. "The last entry talks about desperation. They tried to escape, to leave this galaxy entirely. But it was too late. Something followed them. Something unstoppable." "What do you mean, something?" Marcus asked sharply. Before Mai could answer, alarms blared throughout the Colossus. The ship shuddered violently as if caught in some invisible force. On the main screen, a massive shadow loomed, a shape shifting and writhing like smoke given form. "What is that?" Elena demanded, gripping the edge of her seat. I don't know, Raj replied, his voice shaking. But whatever it is, it's alive. And it knows we're here. The shadow surged toward the ship, engulfing it in darkness. For a moment, all power failed, plunging the crew into silence. Then the whispers returned, louder than ever, filling every corner of the vessel. This time, they weren't random sounds. They formed words in the alien language. They're warnings, Mai realized, her eyes wide with fear. Turn back, they say. Do not awaken what sleeps. Elena clenched her fists, determination hardening her features. We can't run. Not now. If this is the same force that destroyed them, we need to understand it, or find a way to stop it. As the shadow receded, leaving the Colossus intact but shaken, the crew knew one thing for certain. The aliens hadn't abandoned their ship because they wanted to. They'd fled in terror from a threat humanity might soon face. And unlike the aliens, humanity couldn't afford to fail. The encounter with the shadow in the dying star system left the crew of the Colossus shaken but more determined than ever to understand the alien threat. However, tensions aboard the ship began to boil over as differing opinions about humanity's role in wielding such immense power emerged. The discovery of the aliens' downfall had struck a nerve, especially among those who feared repeating their mistakes. Dr. Madeline was the first to voice her concerns openly. We can't keep going like this, she said during a heated meeting in the command center. Every step we take feels like we're walking closer to disaster. If we don't change course, we'll end up just like them. Captain Elena Voss listened intently, though her expression remained unreadable. She knew Mai wasn't alone in her fears. Many aboard the ship believed that using the Colossus for conquest or exploitation would lead to humanity's ruin. Lieutenant Marcus Kane, however, saw things differently. Do you think sitting back and doing nothing will save us? He shot back, his tone sharp. Out there are enemies capable of wiping out entire civilizations. If we don't prepare, if we don't fight, we're already dead. This isn't about fighting, Mai countered, her voice rising. It's about survival. We need to prioritize knowledge and cooperation, not domination. As the argument escalated, Dr. Raj Patel tried to mediate. Both sides have valid points, but arguing won't solve anything. What we need is unity. Before Elena could intervene, an unexpected voice joined the fray. Lieutenant Sarah Chen, one of the younger crew members, stepped forward hesitantly. Maybe it's time we stop thinking about Earth's politics altogether. This ship doesn't belong to any nation. It belongs to everyone. Why should we let Earth dictate how we use it? Her words struck a chord. Slowly, murmurs of agreement spread through the room. For weeks, frustration had been building among the crew. Anger at Earth's greed, fear of repeating history, and uncertainty about what lay ahead. Now those emotions coalesced into something new: rebellion. That night, a secret meeting took place in the engineering bay. Led by Lieutenant Kane and supported by several key crew members, the group discussed plans to declare independence from Earth's control. Their goal was simple: ensure that the Colossus would be used for exploration and peace rather than conquest. When Elena learned of the plot, she confronted Kane directly. You realize this could tear us apart, she said sternly. If Earth finds out, they'll label us traitors. Kane met her gaze without flinching. Better traitors on paper than cowards in reality. Captain, you've seen what happens when power falls into the wrong hands. Are you really willing to stand by while humanity destroys itself? Elena didn't respond immediately. Instead, she retreated to her quarters, staring out at the endless expanse of stars. She thought about the aliens' ruins, the shadow lurking in the void, and the whispers that seemed to echo through the ship's halls. Was this rebellion reckless or necessary? By morning, her decision was made. Calling an emergency assembly, Elena addressed the entire crew. From this moment forward, the Colossus operates under its own authority. Our mission is no longer dictated by Earth, but by our shared values: knowledge, unity, and survival. Cheers erupted, but the celebration was short-lived. Moments later, alarms blared once again. The insectoid guardians reactivated, flooding the corridors. Unlike before, they weren't scanning. They were attacking. What triggered them? Raj shouted as chaos erupted. Elena's eyes narrowed. On the main screen, a transmission appeared. An ultimatum from Earth. They had tracked the Colossus and demanded its immediate surrender or destruction. Caught between external threats and internal divisions, the crew faced their greatest test yet. Survival meant working together, but trust was fragile, and the Guardians showed no mercy. For now, rebellion united them. But whether it would be enough to withstand the forces closing in remained uncertain. The Guardians' sudden attack threw the crew of the Colossus into chaos. The insectoid constructs moved with terrifying precision, their glowing eyes scanning for targets as they unleashed bursts of energy from their claws. Sparks flew as consoles exploded, and alarms blared throughout the ship. "Everyone, fall back," Captain Elena Voss shouted, her voice cutting through the panic. She raised her weapon, firing a pulse rifle scavenged from the alien armory. The shot struck one Guardian squarely in its chest, causing it to stagger, but not fall. "They're too strong," Marcus Kane yelled, ducking behind a console as another blast narrowly missed him. "We need a better plan." Dr. Raj Patel crouched nearby, frantically analyzing readings on his handheld device. "Their armor is adaptive. It learns from every hit we make. If we don't find a weakness soon, we're done for." Elena's mind raced. The Guardians had always been unpredictable, but this level of aggression was unprecedented. What had triggered them? Her eyes darted to the main screen where Earth's ultimatum still flickered menacingly. Could the transmission have activated some ancient failsafe within the ship? "We can't fight them head-on," Madeline said urgently, joining the group. "We need to outsmart them." "How?" Elena asked sharply. "They outnumber us, and they know this ship better than we do." Mai hesitated, then pointed to a damaged panel sparking wildly nearby. "That console connects to the ship's internal systems. If we overload it, we might disrupt their coordination. Buy ourselves time." Raj nodded quickly. "It's risky, but it could work. I'll handle it." Before anyone could stop him, Raj sprinted toward the panel, dodging blasts as he went. With trembling hands, he rewired the circuits, channeling raw energy into the system. A deafening hum filled the air, followed by a burst of light that rippled through the corridors. For a moment, the Guardians froze, their movements halting as if confused. "Now," Elena commanded, "move." The crew scrambled deeper into the ship, regrouping in a secure chamber sealed off by heavy blast doors. Breathing heavily, they assessed the situation. "He'll recover soon," Marcus warned, reloading his weapon. "That trick won't hold them forever." Elena turned to Mai. "You've studied their language. Is there anything else in those records that could help us?" Mai flipped through her notes, her fingers trembling. "There's something. An override command. But activating it would require interfacing directly with the core, the same crystal we stabilized earlier." "And you think that's safe?" Marcus asked skeptically. "It's our only chance," Mag replied firmly. "If we can access the core, we might be able to shut down the Guardians, or at least convince them we're not a threat." Elena didn't hesitate. "Then let's do it. Raj, Marcus, you're with me. May, guide us from here." The team made their way cautiously toward the core chamber, avoiding patrols of recovering Guardians. Along the way, they encountered remnants of Earth's fleet closing in, a stark reminder of the danger waiting outside. When they reached the core, the glowing crystal pulsed ominously. Elena stepped forward, placing her hand on its surface. "Listen to me," she said aloud, hoping the ship, and whatever intelligence guided it, could understand. "We're not your enemies. We're trying to protect what's left of humanity. Please, trust us." For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the whispers returned, not angry this time, but almost curious. The crystal flared brightly, bathing the room in warm light. One by one, the Guardians powered down, retreating into the shadows. But relief was short-lived. Outside, Earth's ships opened fire, shaking the Colossus violently. The battle wasn't over, it had just begun. Humanity's trial by fire had started, testing their courage, ingenuity, and unity. Only time would tell if they were worthy of surviving the stars. As Earth's fleet unleashed its barrage, the Colossus shuddered under the relentless assault. The crew braced themselves, knowing that their survival depended on quick thinking and unity. Captain Elena Voss stood at the helm, her resolve unshaken despite the chaos around her. "We can't fight them directly," she said firmly, addressing the team in the command center. "But we've seen what this ship is capable of. It's time to use it, not as a weapon, but as a shield." Dr. Raj Patel worked furiously at the controls, rerouting power from the alien engines to reinforce the ship's defenses. "If I can amplify the energy field around us, we might be able to neutralize their weapons without firing back," he explained, his fingers flying over the glowing console. Meanwhile, Dr. Magdalene focused on deciphering more of the alien language. Her eyes widened as she uncovered a crucial detail. "There's a protocol here. It's called harmonic resonance. If we activate it, the ship will emit a frequency that disrupts hostile technology. But it'll also expose our position to anyone else out there." Elena didn't hesitate. "Do it. We're not hiding anymore." With May's guidance, Raj initiated the resonance protocol. A low hum reverberated through the ship, growing louder until it seemed to vibrate in their very bones. Outside, Earth's ships faltered as their systems malfunctioned one by one. Weapons powered down, shields collapsed, and communication lines went dead. Within minutes, the attacking fleet was rendered harmless. "They're retreating," Marcus Kane reported, watching the main screen intently. "What now?" Elena took a deep breath, her gaze steady. "Now we talk. This isn't just about Earth. It's about humanity learning to work together." Using the Colossus Advanced Communication Array, Elena broadcast a message to all surviving human colonies and factions. She spoke plainly, her voice calm but resolute. "This ship doesn't belong to any nation or corporation. It belongs to all of us, and so does the future. If we continue fighting among ourselves, we'll only repeat the mistakes of those who came before us. Let today mark the beginning of something new: cooperation, exploration, and hope." Her words resonated across the galaxy. For the first time in years, leaders set aside their differences and listened. Slowly, fragile alliances began to form. Mining operations shifted towards sustainability, rogue experiments ceased, and resources were shared equitably. Humanity started rebuilding, not as conquerors, but as explorers united by a common purpose. In the weeks that followed, the Colossus became a symbol of this new era. Under Elena's leadership, the crew established peaceful contact with neighboring alien civilizations, sharing knowledge and forging partnerships. Each encounter brought fresh challenges, but also opportunities for growth. Dr. Raj Patel often reflected on how close humanity had come to self-destruction. "We're lucky," he admitted during a quiet moment in the engineering bay. "This ship gave us a second chance. Let's not waste it." Mai Lin spent her days documenting everything they'd learned about the aliens, the shadowy threat lurking in the void, and humanity's journey aboard the Colossus. Her writings would serve as both a record and a warning for future generations. As the massive vessel ventured further into uncharted space, Elena gazed out at the stars, feeling a mix of awe and responsibility. They still didn't know what lay ahead. The shadow could return, or other dangers might emerge. But for now, humanity had taken its first true steps toward becoming a galactic civilization. The Colossus wasn't just a relic of the past, it was a beacon of hope for the future. And though the road ahead would be uncertain, Elena knew one thing for sure: humanity had finally begun to earn its place among the stars.